Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Two Wide Racing. It is Sunday. We're out in the garage as usual, talking it up. And today was the All-Star race at Texas.
Yeah.
And
Not really great. It's hard to get excited about this race that
right.
doesn't matter. There's no points.
Yeah.
It's just some sort of for funsies exhibition all the way out in Texas for whatever reason.
Right. I don't know what is this, third year maybe that it's been in Texas? It used to be Charlotte, and you were wondering why. I was trying to explain how it used to be like a 2-week thing in Charlotte, so it was kind of like coming back to the home base and leading into like the grandest of all snooze fest is the Coca-Cola 600, womp womp, which we have to look forward to next week. But they used to be companion events, and it's been moved to Texas, I think, in 2020 or somewhere right around there.
I still don't understand what purpose this serves. They have made the rules so needlessly complicated that it's hard to understand what is going on.
Right.
And just why? Why is this a thing?
It feels maybe a bit outmoded, or it needs some revamp. I've mentioned that I thought it should be a dirt race for years. Charlotte Motor Speedway has the dirt track and the drag. Maybe they should go drag racing. That would be better. But I've said the dirt race because at Eldora Speedway, they used to do the Prelude to the Dream. You actually went to one with me way back in the day in 2007 or 8. And they used to have NASCAR guys and HRA guys. Well, let's just take like 15, 20, same thing. Give them all like really good late models and let them loose on a good dirt racing surface. If it's not at the Charlotte Speedway, it could be in the Charlotte area. I think it should all be tied in there. If we're going to keep this as a 2-week thing, it makes more sense to keep it tidy and keep it back at the home base. Mm-hmm. Maybe from there we can work on incorporating different things into it. A country music concert and Blake Shelton introducing the show doesn't really make it that much more exciting for me. I gotta be honest. Gwen Stefani showed up. That might have been a thing. I mean, I did a little holler back girl on the halftime show when they went to the pits or something. That might have done it. Maybe call it Pitbull. I don't know. The All-Star should be different. My vote is dirt. It wouldn't be that hard to do. We've, diddled around with racing on dirt before. People seem to be kind of, I don't know. The Bristol dirt was good this year, so keep that. Maybe, I don't know. But something different, please. Something.
Yeah. And today did start out promising for our boy Kyle.
Yeah, he was looking good. He had the pole. He was shutting them down. It felt like the leader could get away today. It didn't feel, coming off of a really hot, like 1.5 mile track race where we were really excited about the racing, this one didn't feel as good.
Yeah.
With as much lead changes, as much passing. Maybe it was the shorter segments. People couldn't set up for long runs. I'm not really sure. But nevertheless, it felt more like a classic 1.5 where the leader ran out and it was a rabbit chase. And it was hard to catch up with him. The eventual winner, Blaney, won both the last 2 stages. And only really got any competition when NASCAR decided he hadn't won the race fairly within 120 feet. Which we can talk about, I guess, because it was really silly. I noticed a lot of you guys online were bitching about it. And it makes sense because it was pretty weird. He also ran without a window net. I was like, if this dude flies out of a car, what's going to happen? I mean, they should have, if they were going to dick around and deal with that and restart again, they should have let him put his window net in. That's kind of crazy that kind of happened like that.
No, that should have been the end of the race.
Right.
Again, stop messing with the rules that nobody understands.
Mm-hmm.
And there Blaney was convinced he'd won the race.
Drops a net like usual.
Every race ends green, white checker. Why would this one be any different? Oh, there was a caution 1 second before he crossed the finish line.
Right.
Absurd.
It made no sense to re-rack him. It's a shorter field anyways. It just sometimes seems like NASCAR tries to make arbitrary rules and then adhere to them with like militant force, despite common sense. Now, we need more common sense rules and regulations in NASCAR across the board, I think, with some of this stuff. I think some of the penalties this year have been like ultra wild severe. Hey, we're going to change the complete way you do tires. And then if you screw it up, we're going to throw you out for 4 races. Like it makes no rhyme or reason a lot of times. It really just feels nilly-willy, like they sit behind the boards and just kind of arbitrarily pick when and where to enforce rules. Oh, this guy can do this, but this guy can't do that. We didn't like this outcome. We've known for years about the weird, just at least maybe once a race there's a caution that makes no sense. I think the week before had one of those. I don't remember exactly.
Kevin
but
Harvick got a caution over nothing.
He like went and he like already had gone down the pit road or something and gotten down safely, flagged, and
there were several other
other people who spun like a rear filler, like a 34 car or a 77
and no
spins out,
call.
and like it's clearly biased rule enforcement. So I don't tend to like dwell on this side of the sport, but it's actually, we didn't even plan on talking about this, but it's kind of interesting because it feels like a sloppy mess sometimes. And the fact that they can't even keep it tidy for this little, like you said, kind of extracurricular event, it makes it feel even more kind of bush league. So let's get better about that. I think everything else in the season's been so good, and this, I don't feel like this has really terribly affected any races in a grand scale, but it does make them feel sloppy sometimes. So maybe we should tighten that up because it did detract a little bit from it. But overall, it just kind of felt like a staged up, shorter version of a 1.5 boring old school 1.5, not like the ones we've been getting more excited in about the recent weeks. They've been showing out there a lot better. So I'm not sure. The tire seemed a little bit wonkier. A lot of tire accidents. That's how Rowdy ended up getting just T-boned, I guess, or just Calamity Janed, and the car flew. He got a car in the air today, I guess. But it was pretty wild. So I don't know how much. I saw a lot of chatter online about that, about the tires being kind of sloppy. I don't know. So we got to go into diggers, and it's not going to be a good digger this week, I don't think. What do you want to call it?
I wasn't impressed with today's race. It wasn't very engaging, other than some catastrophic airborne wrecks.
Like we said, it does help. And it's a race because it doesn't mean anything. If your favorite driver goes out of it, then really, what do you care? Because that's what it felt like today. I was like, oh, great, Kyle's running good. And then Kapui, and he's in there, just like, man.
But at the end of the day, this race does not matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Why are we doing it?
Yeah.
I still don't understand.
Are we going back to it's a one digger?
One digger.
Ooh, it's a one digger all-star, folks. We gotta figure this out and put some more zazz into it. Maybe a different course. It shouldn't be a 1.5 either. It should be a road course one. That's been try out a new road course that we can maybe add to the schedule because we know that's coming.
Yeah. Maybe
that's a thought. I don't know. It's sorry to just harp and bag on this one today, folks. And next week's not going to be any better. I'll just tell you that much. But, anyhow, our other favorite thing, the paint was actually pretty good this week, and we had a pretty easy time going through it and picking a couple this week. So let's let them have it.
Yeah, running away with the win for paint this week, we had Allmendinger in the Andes Frozen Custard.
Yes.
Looking amazing with that neon pink and yellow.
Wow.
Very
colorful. Eye-catching.
Yes. Stood out from the rest of the pack today.
Yeah. Delicious frozen custard never looks so good on a racetrack.
Yeah.
As we talked about it before on the paint reviews, but neon colors always win. They're bright and exciting. Race cars should be exciting. Allmendinger brought the heat. It's always good to see Dinger in a cup race too. He was having fun in the intro. So, and
for him to finally have good paint.
He's
run a few races this year,
mediocre.
But they've all been that same white, forgettable.
Yeah, which we had to put in jail once.
Been a real shame for him, but improved drastically this week.
Right.
And continuing with the neon, we had McDowell in a brand new scheme this week for the Wise EV charging. Okay. Which was a black car with neon green on it.
Right. Yeah, it was very different. It just looked different. It was a very, kind of looked classic, kind of looked new. A little bit of a mix of both, green and black, just a simple green and black car. Oddly don't see that a lot.
Yeah, well, pretty much just Monster owns that.
And
nobody else touches it.
Yeah, they got that one on lockdown. P.S. Monster, do a different Monster color.
Yeah.
You got like 800 cans of Monster, but one car. It's kind of silly. Hook up.
That has been the same for over a decade.
Yeah.
My God.
Hook up old Kurt Busch, man. He'll get you a win or two a year. Let's do this.
Yeah. Another brand new scheme this week. We've got Bubba Wallace in the Dark Berry Dr. Pepper.
Yeah,
a nice, simple blue car. I have not had this Dr. Pepper. I'm a big Dr. Pepper fan.
Yeah, you're a pepper.
Probably pretty tasty.
Could be gross. Kind of sounds like it could be gross. Car also looked like a Tootsie Pop wrapper from back in the day, like the blue and white one. I kind of liked it. It was just simple. 2 colors is all you need sometimes to make it stand out and look different. Shout outs again to 23 Racing for the performance this year and making really good looking cars. Sometimes the Bubba ones are a little bit lackluster, so especially after Kurt having the Super Fire, throwback Jordan paint scheme last week, it's nice to see Bubba in something cool and different.
Absolutely. And following up behind that, we have Chastain, who was in the Worldwide Express.
This is a pit bull party.
Yeah, Mr. Worldwide joined teams with Worldwide Express.
Yeah,
Match made in heaven.
Right, picture that like a Kodak. we're pro pit bull. We just think it's fun. Isn't it fun that like a rapper owns a race car? Like that's kind of crazy. Michael Jordan owns a team. Pitbull owns a team. That's exciting to me, and I can back that. And I think it's fun. But there should just be a giant car with a giant pitbull head on it at some point. We need to see that.
But this was a good-looking car. It was black and blue, and kind of futuristic looking. It looked a bit like
the other
Cindric's.
Yeah, the Tron car we love. It was it was oddly really close. I don't know if maybe the same design people did that car, but God, it was so close. But yeah, we're fans of that one. And Pitbull, so double thumbs up.
And speaking of Cindric, he's going to round out our list this week with his Keystone Light car, which was looking pretty good. Cindric has not had a very strong year paint-wise.
No, they're kind of... Penske's a bit tame, and Penske does a lot of traditional Penske paint jobs, so it's rare that they hit our list. But this one I had to give up because I've definitely gotten into a Keystone 30-pack. I know what you guys know what I'm talking about. When you got $15 and you got to get Friday Night Drunk, Keystone Light's going to hook you up. And it's cool to see like a different beer sponsor that feels old school, like the classic. We can't have Winston or cigarettes up in it anymore. But hey, let's get some more beers involved. It's funny that there's not more. Yeah. Let's be honest. Like we're a beer drinking people. It's a beer drinking ass sport. Bring on more beer. A PBR car? Oh, God, that would be awesome.
Oh, that could be a beautiful
scene. Man. Dick Trickle used to be sponsored by PBR, and he used to have them pay him in PBR because Dick Trickle was awesome. But that would be a cool throwback scheme, too, or just like a one-time. Like, that would be something to look forward to. But yeah, bring on more beers, NASCAR. I think that's a good thing to go after.
Yeah.
And so we got to throw somebody in jail every week, and who's going to do it? We had a smaller field to pick from, but...
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, who's on the chopping block?
Not really anything too egregious this week.
Yeah, it wasn't a god-awful.
But we got to call out the winner of the race.
Ooh.
Blaney.
Oh.
I'm getting tired of this Menards car.
The split Menards car is the thing here. Now, Menards and their neon color scheme is actually kind of cool. It's been around for a while. It's at certain points been a primary of cars. It's a primary of cars in other series currently, possibly. I know in ARCA there's at least one where back in the day where it was just all green, and that's a cool color, and it follows our neon rules. Hey, you might make a top 5 on 2 Wide Racing.
It could be a very eye-catching paint scheme, but so often the hood just kind of ruins it. It doesn't match. The Wrangler wasn't bad this week, but a missed opportunity where why wasn't Wrangler written in the same neon?
Yeah.
It could have tied in with the rest of the scheme. Right. It just looks like 2 halves of cars were joined together with no thought.
Right, and it's also then also a shame because we all love the old classic Wrangler, the Earnhardt paint scheme. It could have been something like that, but something where they could just do maybe the whole car's that sponsor, but tie in the Menards colors, a little more thought to it than parsing out the hood, because that's kind of taken out of a lot of paint schemes this year. It feels like a trend this year with sponsorships and stuff, and maybe that's how it's working out now, where you got to sell that's clearly the biggest part of the car. So it's worth more money. I'm not sure if all this, the deals about it or whatever, but
they just don't want to shell out.
It's
the sole sponsor.
Yeah, it takes away from both of them. It didn't look like a Wrangler car, and it didn't look like a Menards car. It just looked like it's just confusing.
It looked like a Franken car cobbled together out of random parts.
Yeah, good call. If that's the Franken car of the week, that's why it's going to jail. It's a hideous monster. Lock it up. Menards, just do better cars. Okay, you got a lot of money. Just make it a Menards car.
Mm-hmm. you're already throwing a lot of money at this sport. Let's just step it up a little bit. Be the sole sponsor.
Right.
Make a good paint scheme.
Yeah. That's it on that one, guys.
Who knows what paint we'll see next week at the Coca-Cola?
Yeah, there could be some.
Hopefully something good to make it a little more interesting than the marathon we have coming up.
The 6-hour slog. The Indy. Well, maybe Jimmy Johnson will win the Indy 500.
Yeah.
So it's the same weekend, right? Yeah. So I mean that's cool. It's like it feels like always like a fun day for motorsports, but at the end of the day, it's a lot of laps. It's 1,100 miles between the two races, so it's a long day. So you're gonna have to call your pizza guy and get a couple more Keystone Lights is what you're gonna have to do. So we will be back next Sunday for our review of that. We're gonna tell you about Diggers. We're keeping Digger alive over here. That's our number one goal to this operation. So yeah, we'll see you next week for Diggers, Paint Jail, and our reviews. Boogity boogity boogity.
Amen.